They experience terror and torment at the hands of Pennywise the Dancing Clown, an embodiment of a greater evil force haunting Derry. 30 years later, Pennywise returns to plague the town once more, stealing kids and eating them up, so the Losers Club is forced to regroup in order to try and vanquish the evil force once and for all. Although Tim Curry's portrayal of Pennywise is the most memorable part of this production, the story of it is one of King's finest, a poignant tale of making friends, coming of age, and facing your demons. Of course he can't. Police chief Mike notices a picture sitting by a tree.
If they're gonna hire somebody to mangle one of my books, might as well be me.
He's having dinner with his lovely wife Audra, an actress set to star in the picture he's working on. But their meal is interrupted by a phone call from Mike, who tells him quite plainly, "It's back."
Sure.
And yeah, it also brings back Bill's childhood star. Even Earl, Bill looks through a photo album and gets freaked out when a picture of Georgie winks at him. People forget that pictures moving like that was creepy as he lived could make spontaneously bleeding photo albums not creepy. And what's worse is that Bill, since his parents don't seem to notice the blood at all. With that flashback taken care of, we get our first of many match cuts back into the present, where Bill says to himself that he had forgotten everything that had happened back then. He goes to leave despite his wife's protestations, who says she's willing to go with him, but he tells her no and gives her a very forceful hug. Now on to New York City, where he'll float. Flashback ends and adult Ben is sad. Now let's blast on over to Chicago to meet up with Bev, who's a successful fashion designer. She's dating a stereotypical 80s businessman whose favorite movie is definitely Wall Street for all the wrong reasons. This guy is a super doucher.
Bevy, don't ever contradict me in front of Pam again, okay?
So he probably won't be the most understanding when Bev gets a call from Mike later that night. In fact, when he comes back and finds her packing, he gets so incensed that he straight up slaps her in the face, then threatens her with a belt. Bev knows getting back to Derry is super important though, so she throws shit at him and leaves. Losers run away from the theater, giddy over their guerrilla strike against the bullies, and Eddie says he's having the time of his life until his mom comes out and shoos his friends away. She reminds him not to shower at school because of germs. He heads to the showers by himself, and the faucets start taking on a mind of their own, getting hotter and expanding out from the wall to start covering Eddie and blocking him in from escaping. Then things get even weirder when clown hands start coming out of the drain. Pennywise pulls apart the shower floor and pops out of it like some kind of evil clown Diglett. He teases Eddie for a while before Green Richie goes to bed terrified that night, and match cuts his way back to 80s stand-up comic Richie. Back in the Derry library, Mike looks at a photograph and decides that it's a good time to have a flashback of his own, so he reminisces about the time he earns the ire of Henry Bowers and his new expanded group of greasers for being black, so they chase him down the street and into a gravel pit construction area. Here the other losers are hanging out and talking about how they've all seen Pennywise now, except for Scout Trooper Stan, who's skeptical of the whole situation. Stan's too logical for this kind of thing.
Such a thing just isn't empirically possible.
But the others assure him it's real and the cause of all the missing children lately. When Mike runs into them for help, they defend him from the greasers, scare the bullies away, but not before Henry promises to kill them all someday. Mike officially joins their club and they become 7.
Lucky 7.
They take a group picture together to commemorate the formation of their group, and honestly, I took a very similar group picture with my nerdy friends back in high school at a construction yard we'd always go play airsoft at. Yeah, I'm the one with the center part in the Star Wars shirt. The kids go through Mike's photo album and find drawings of Pennywise from 200 years ago in Derry. They also drop the title in this scene. And another still comes to life with Penny they all just saw. He finally admits that he saw it, but he's reluctant to join in the club's call to action to do something about it. But after Bill gives an impassioned plea for them all to help him kill it, they huddle up in a friendship hug and agree. Mike wakes up from his flashback and his section ends with a scary balloon pop. Spooky. If you're counting along, you know there's only one more loser to meet, so we head to Atlanta, Georgia, where Stan is living a very comfortable life. Oh, and he's played by Richard Masur, who was Clark the dog handler in The Thing. Looks different without a beard or a bullet in his forehead. He gets the phone call from Mike, but Stan's real freaked out and says he can't promise he'll make it back to Derry with the rest of them. He leaves his wife to go upstairs and run a bath, and yep, you guessed it, match cut his way back to 1960. The inside, unaware that Henry and his cronies are watching them, ready to follow them in and make sure they never come. This doesn't work out so great for Vic though, because a super bright light starts moving underneath the floor towards where he's standing, eventually popping out of a grate and venture deeper into the sewers, only to have Stan get grabbed by Henry and Belch, who reminds him what his name is. His knife and starts picking. Bright light be coming down the pike again, and it's headed straight towards those kids. Oh shit! It bursts out of the pipe, knocking away Henry and Stan and sucking up Belch back into the pipe. Belch gets folded in half, comes back and pops out of the pipe to say hello to the boys again, but Stan's smart enough to GTFO while Henry sits there dumbfounded. We don't get to see what he does, but whatever it is, it scares him enough to turn his hair white. The light ignores him for now though, opting instead to chase Stan down the tunnels as he runs to reunite with his friends. They huddle up together and fall. That's proven when we jump back to 1990 and his wife comes upstairs to find him in the bathtub with his wrist slit. Note on the wall, and part 1 of It concludes with his wife screaming